I one of the things. So I've been talking a lot about AI recently, and which is such a broad term, but essentially like understanding its value and where it's going and where it's going to be important for us as analysts to leverage it, or even not maybe not even just analysts, but as employees. And I'm gonna talk about this because it took me a long time to figure it out. If 6 months ago you would have said like, hey, you're gonna be having all these conversations about AI, I would have told you you're crazy, because I wasn't for it and I was waiting for like it to figure itself out. But now I'm starting to see the values of it. And here's a really good example. So I want to, well, anecdotally real quick, one of the things I was talking about recently to somebody I know that works at Google, as like a customer service manager, and I don't think that's the actual term, but like the idea is that these people are already Microsoft. Oh, it wasn't Google. I'm sorry, it was Microsoft, and they already had these customers, and she helped to support them afterwards. But one of the things that she was saying is that she noticed that her customers were having students, recent college grads that applied for her companies, were people were backing out of the employment process. So it's like they didn't want to be a part of this organization anymore, and it's specifically because they hadn't adopted any Copilot tools, because they see this new generation, and maybe a lot of people see that the accelerator that this sort of technology is going to be for careers. So that's just something very interesting. But I'm going to kind of give you an example of this exact thing that I'm talking about here right now. So I was working through a regular expression, doing some Alteryx stuff, and I built this, or we wanted to do an expression that said, hey, I want to pull out this last instance of whatever's between this period and this double quote. And when writing this expression, sometimes it's difficult because if you do something like this, it captures all three, and then if you don't know exactly how to capture this third one, it will, because the way it expression writes, it would capture everything between this first one and this last double quote. So rather than try to write that out and figure it out on my own, I went right to ChatGPT and I said, hey, can you create a regular expression to pull everything between the last period and the last double quote from this string? Right. So this is what I thought that was fairly clear. So I said, yeah, certainly. Here's your expression. And if you've read regular expressions, or if you've ever used this tool, regex 101, this isn't working, because for a few reasons. Luckily, this kind of walks you through it. And just to note, this is an important part about knowing enough about the world that you're trying to leverage AI with, and how to do prompts, because I see clearly that it doesn't work, but I also can deduct why it doesn't work, and then I can work backwards from it. So in the first example, we look here, and this asserts that there's it's the position at the end of the line, but between this last double quote and this caret, or there's this caret between the last double quote and the end of the line. So if I remove this specifically, it starts to pull mostly what I'm looking for. However, it's still grabbing, we talked about this earlier, how it's grabbing this first period into this last period. So what we ended up doing is a dot and a plus, which pulls everything, and then it ultimately pulls this green thing that I wanted. So this is an example of where the initial answer out of ChatGPT didn't give me everything I wanted. So it became something where we start to have a conversation. Okay, hey ChatGPT, so what I did next is I said, hey, that didn't work, and I had to add this to the beginning so the whole expression looked like this. Note, I should have also noticed that I had to remove the $sign, but I think it picked that up. So I said that the quote had to look like this. And this is what's cool about this, is it's not only like every one of these prompts isn't a brand new prompt. It does kind of build on the previous prompt. So it says, oh, thank you for pointing out for correcting this. And then it talks about this, right? Gotcha. All right. So this is cool. Because again, now, we're kind of having a conversation. And if it wasn't to work, it probably would have given me like here are things you have to worry about with that, or that's what I would hope. But it does kind of break down the explanation of this expression. Now, what's important about everything that we're doing here is that we are learning how to have a conversation with AI, and this is called prompt augmentation. And so we want to figure out how we could have better asked this question. So I just asked ChatGPT. I was like, when I asked the first time to generate this regular expression, is there a way that I could have asked my question to you? Is there a better way that I can see? Now I'm reading that, I'm like, oh, that sounds weird when I say it out loud. But it's like, okay, the original question was clear and straightforward, but the issue arose from a slight misinterpretation of a specific pattern you needed. So it gave me an example of like a revised question. So as if I take this and I use this in the future, we can find opportunities to get to answers faster. The technology is super cool. Finding the right LLM or the right model or whatever that you can implement into your organization is very important. ChatGPT has a really cool one called ChatGPT Teams, which essentially you can put ChatGPT 4, I think it's 4.0 into your organization, and then everything exists within there. So it's not talking to like an external ChatGPT server. I don't know the specifics of it in that, but my understanding is that it's essentially what I just said. I don't. And then, of course, you've got all the Google and Microsoft products that do the same thing. But anyway, I just want to show you that. I just wanted to talk about, again, the importance of being smart with our AI prompts and how we can get better using this tool, because it's not going away and it's not getting dumber. So the dumbest that AI is right now. So we can either embrace it and figure out how to use it in our daily lives or get left behind. So thanks everybody. Have a good day.